sacrifice from the front page. He would say, no, there is no space. I cannot give you. And that was the last one. Somewhere along the line, as we got into this early 90s liberalization process started, so the media, the way the media operated also started changing. Slowly, as Prem rightly pointed out, from the editors, the marketing people, the managers became more important. And now the managers rule the roost. As you rightly said, 15 lakhs rupees a month in Hindustan Times. So I don't grudge that man that getting that kind of money or anybody getting that kind of money. But what has happened is, and why I want to say this, when MBAs become the manager of the media, I am not saying that everybody is not responsible or everybody is responsible. What I mean to say is that somewhere this is a problem which has been in my mind for quite some time, and I wanted to address this in a business school. The business school, we have talked about curriculums. Business school also needs to have a strong element of what this democracy is about. Because when managers, the MBAs become managers of media, they need to understand the importance of this democracy. And how media is very in that system of democracy, how media is the one which supports and which survives. The survival of the democracy depends on a free media. Now what has happened is, here are these managers who come there, their only concern is how to make more money for their owner and how to get their own fan bonuses. In the bargain, what is happening is that this democratic media cannot be and should not be treated like a soap or any of the consumer goods which you have to sell. Media is a completely different kind of entity because of which country survives, country thrives. So I think that media, all business schools should have in their curriculum a strong element of politics, a strong element of sociology, a strong element of economics is always there. See, what is this country about? How did we gain this kind of independence? How is independence has been sustained all these years? If the managers don't understand it, what we are witnessing today in the media is what has happened because of that. Because of that, we have seen paid news is not the creation of the owner. Paid news is a very smart idea given by some MBA to some owner, and suddenly that owner realized that, hey, what used to happen before paid news happened was that individual journalists like me or Gopi Krishnan or Sotadri Raman or somebody, we would be corrupt individually. We would accept money from a politician, from a bureaucrat, from whoever we could blackmail or we would be of use to. We would collect money. We would get 500 rupees in envelopes every month. Those were the days of 500 rupees. Then suddenly at some point of time, a smart MBA who was working for one of these major media houses realized, what is happening? Why should Girish or Gopi or anybody get that money? Let us do it, let us get that money. Why should they get that money? So they started this paid news is a concept which is not individual corruption, it is mass corruption. Media has been corrupted on a mass scale through this whole process of change. And this is an idea created, nurtured, and continues to be nurtured by an MBA. So I don't want the future MBA, at least people here, when you do something like it, when you plan, you are talking of ideas, he said it's all about ideas. But not these kind of ideas which can destroy a country, which can destroy a system, which can destroy the media.
Mr. Raman, I would like you to respond to this because this is a clear picture. Major part of it is true. We all know. But is there a real hope? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Can business media really contribute in a positive way? And is there a scope left? Because if our owners restrict us, we will not be able to do anything. So is there a scope left?
Yeah, there is a lot of scope left. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, as I think it's a little hard to say that business media is the PR. Well, it cannot be said that harshly that it's PR. It's not PR, but certainly we reflect a little bit more of the opinion of the corporates than possibly a general media could. And electronic media even more so at this point of time. But then that's an opportunity that we have to know the mindset of the businessmen themselves. So there is a lot of knowing about who is behind that business. We all used to know this is Usha fan, but we didn't know that who is the guy who is behind Usha fan. Now we know. You know, this is the kind of change that is taking place. Now, how does it matter to a business school? So let me confine to that aspect alone. One of the things that the business school can really benefit from. Yeah, one of the things the business school can really benefit from is by tracking the media. Many of you really don't have the habit of reading newspapers. Let me be very frank. I don't ask this embarrassing question as to how many of you have read Economic Times yesterday. Because I won't really get too many of you responding that I did. So the point is, none of us really read in a very serious kind of way, but we should. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know what's happening, forget history. Let's talk about today. What's happening today? And if you're not able to read and understand what's going on, I think you will not get anywhere. Let's see what is going on today. Forget scandals, corruption, all these things are a common story. Forget about the fact that India is still on a slow growth path. The real news is that we are definitely in a global world. You would never have believed if about 10 years back, I was one of the earliest guys who wrote on GATT. Before GATT, there was something called GSTP, Global System of Trade Preferences. That was almost 3 decades back. I wrote a editorial page article on GSTP. That was a completely new animal to India. We never knew that there is some such thing called a global system of trade preferences. We always thought that somebody will buy our goods, then we export to them. And we have no preferences on that. Because the buyer will dictate terms. It's not so. We do have trade preferences. And then from there, the GATT evolved. From GATT, it's unbelievable. I would never have believed myself when I wrote that WTO really happened. WTO.org, I don't know how many of you really watched that particular site. Any of you who are really interested in joining businesses tomorrow should be able to go to that site every now and then, and please see for yourself, because almost all of the global business is today under the WTO. WTO has got lots and lots of rules of how to do business. If you don't understand that as a manager, you're going to get into a lot of trouble. I'll give you one example of what it is, how you can really learn from this. There is something called social obligations of a business, which is at the ground level, you should be able to engage with the society in a proper, honest way. If you don't do it, there's nobody to ask you. Like for example, we have a post called Inspector of Boilers. You heard about that? Inspector of Boilers is supposed to inspect the boilers which are operating in various industries and certify every now and then it is safe to have it. Whereas in reality, one inspector versus 2,000 boilers. It's unbelievable that any one guy can actually go and inspect all these boilers and then look at the boiler's condition and so on and so forth. You just don't do it. It's impractical to do it. Then comes WTO. Now WTO says, I want you guys to really do the right practice, social practice in business. So how do they do it? Very interesting way. They say there is something called social audit, which has become mandatory. And Indians thought that it's nothing to do with me. Until one guy's consignment was rejected in Bangalore. This happened about 5 years back. This guy has been regularly exporting to the Western countries. There is one container load of textile material, finished material, high value material, which was sent just before the season starts. Big high value item. The whole container load was rejected. That shipload was completely because there was a bad quality of the product or anything else, or not because they didn't pay, nothing. This guy has been importing the same party for the last 10 years, but it got rejected. You know why? The social audit certificate was not there, and they did the investigation of that particular company. They found out that this guy was not meeting the WTO obligations on social audit. So what are the obligations? And what was the specific reason why he was considered rejected, you know? Very funny. This guy has engaged a lot of women for producing the textiles. You know, the textile industry engages a lot of women. So the social audit report found that percentage of toilet seats to the number of women employed. It's absurdly low. They say that for every 5 women employed, there should be a toilet seat. Now this guy had 2 toilet seats for about 500 women. So they say that, sorry, we can't. I'm just giving you an example of how businesses today are evolving, how socially you should be. There is some obligation that you have to fulfill. Now everybody is desperately hunting for a social audit certificate. You know, there's a very big industry that has developed. You go on the net and say social audit, then you'll be shocked to see that millions of entries are there. Every other fellow has to do it because that's what WTO says. Every day you go to WTO site, you will find new norms. You have to learn. So this is what I'm saying. You got to have to be proactively tracking what's going on in the world. That's WTO. Let's look at the services industry. The services industry today is not working in isolation at all. India is one of the biggest manpower suppliers to the services industry. And we also already have a big crisis going on now with us. The people who are between 21 and 28 are supposed to be considered as employable lot. This age group is fast growing in this country. Soon enough, they predict about 60 to 70% of the global population of such kind of youth will be within the borders of this country, which means opportunity or a loss. First of all, we have no choice on that. We got to have that kind of people. And who is going to engage them? You. We will all retire and go away in another 10 years' time. And you guys will be the managers who you have to find jobs for them. So how do you find jobs? It's a very serious issue. If you don't have it, you don't find jobs for them, there is going to be social unrest. And you are going to have serious problem on your hand. On the other hand, when you have so much of youth with you, and the world is now becoming almost one place as far as trade is concerned. In fact, Indian rupee is convertible on trade account, which means there is an opportunity for you to think through. Now, let me just my final point is, how do you think? Where do you get the ingredients of thinking? Because one of the friends during the break was coming and asking me, I go and work in a company, say after 2, 3 years, 4 years as an MBA. I get good jobs, fine, I get good money and everything. After 3, 4 years of being there, the guy says, I'm through with this. I want to come up with new ideas. Okay? If you want, say, promotion or anything of the sort, you have to come up with new ideas. How do you come up with a new idea? How do you come up with a new idea? You have to have a mindset to track what's going on around you. You have to constantly track. You have to know what's going on. And how do you start that? I just want to leave with an idea, which I want you to really appreciate and understand. When you are here, I said you are a simulator. You can do a lot of things here, experiment. Each of you, my suggestion is, each of you latch on to one guy who has done made it really big in the industry. One guy. Okay? There are about 200 people who are there in the PGDM first year, I guess, or 200, 260 or something like that, right? Now 260 heroes you will find straight away on one day. You track 260 heroes and see what they are doing, which business they are in, what they have done yesterday, what they will do tomorrow, what their strategy and so on and so forth. Share it. Share it. Create a blog or create a Facebook page on that. Okay, within your own system and share it. And probably many of you who are tracking your hero should also be able to email him. And all the responded 60 of them come here, that's more than enough for you. Ideas come through discussion. Discussion through talking to people, and that's how ideas come. Do all of you. And learn it here when you have time to learn. Because in industry, there's no time. I mean, you should be able to say that.
I think you asked me about corruption. I first talk on journalism, corruption. But now I talk to business school. Because I was covering this study spectrum for a long time. And when this charge sheeting day, we know Raja will be the first accused, second will be the secretary, third will be the telecom secretary. All know. But all of a sudden, when charge sheet was submitted, we all saw you three names, which I have never noticed. One is Gautam Doshi, another is Surendra Pipara, another is Hari Nair. These three were not Google also. Then all of a sudden, I straight away went to the Chief Investigating Officer, SP and DIG, kahan se mil gaye ye team? Where get these three people? He used the word, ye team bani ka bakra hai. These are the three scapegoats of Anil Ambani. So you are entering into business school, you are entering into corporates. So you should keep ethics. You should have courage, and you should have courage to throw when your owner says some illegal thing. Otherwise, these three. One is company president, was a chartered accountant, he was the president of Chartered Accountants Union, and Anil Nair is a company secretary. Another man is some sort of financial operator. Now, what happens? Owner has left, the original culprit has left using his political clout, and he put the money. Then I asked CBI officers what justification you can give these three scapegoats. They said that these three has plotted all these fraud companies, Swan, Tiger, Parrot, Swan owns Tiger and Parrot owns Tiger and Zebra. These kind of companies, owner asked to sign, they signed. Because you are all MBA guys, you will all join within 2 or 3 years, you will join these big companies and getting fat salaries. So I asked them, what is your salary? Now I every day get them in the court. So one person said that my salary is 6 lakhs, another person said that mine is only 7.5, and top man said that mine is anyway cross below above 10. And all of a sudden, CBI prosecutor decided, let us call Anil Ambani. So Anil Ambani was called as witness. He did not recall anything. Do you know this company name? He said that I don't know. I don't recall. Do you know this?
The only thing he recalled was his own name.
No. That's some advocate was laughing. Baap ka naam pucho. And next day they came in Ambani. So the judge asked, do you know this company Swan? She said that, yeah, heard of it, yeah, I know. Then judge smiled and said that you have a little bit more memory than your husband. So you are entering into a profession 2 or 3 years after. So never ever go anything above law, because now the corruption of anti-corruption wave has started. So at least it's not an advice or anything. If you feel anything illegal, you should stand up and say, sorry, I am not this person. I can't start. And you just leave it off. There are other good companies out there. Now, you see, this corruptions will go on, but don't lose your life there. Because Maliks will, these fat cats will somehow escape.
You to say they should go this far and not further.
Yeah.
Everyone should know.
Regulations are going to be stricter now. And better to earn less rather than lot of money and spend 10 years in jail.
I really want to take this debate to the students, because we have many divergent views about the media and the corruption. So anybody among the audience think that there is an innovative way of bringing in some positive change in media, business media, because it is, are we reporting economy, are we reporting just business, or are we reporting new financials or something? So, any creative way of bringing in any correction, we can also start from Mr. Hussain, sir.
Okay. I think you guys carry on. If you want me, I can say a few things.
Yeah.
But I think the panel times can be discussed, then we can take go up to stage.
Okay.
The medium society and policy competition is very huge. I think sometime back we got Sampradaya, he said Washington Post, a media of one time which led a President Go, now being acquired by Jeff Bezos at $50 billion. So irrespective of the media evaluations and the social media coming up, media had been always social. Media had been never capitalistic, or media was never business numbers. Media had been always social. But probably the media's objective was not always social. Social media coming up now, probably media is realizing to be social. That's one view of mine. So social media will probably put media on the corrective stage. If media goes for excesses, social media will always there to point it out that this is not right, and they can immediately find out what is true and what is pending, what is fear, and they will give the checks and balances. If I am not mistaken, I think many of you followed the Wall Street Journal, New York Times back in 2017, the pro-capitalistic, move they had vis-a-vis in Financial Times. Post 2008, I think that changed a lot. Like post 2008, everybody is talking about more regulation, more social needs, more controlling of excesses that has come up. I am not sure whether it is running from 2008 or the second impact can be from social media. In India at least, what we look for future next is that not only how, as marketing managers, what you are saying, as marketing managers, how you use media to sell your product, but what do you do ethically? Like even I am not trying to diagnose the topic, but say using kids as an advertisement. Many people say that this is not something right, but how far will you go? And as I said, both this and no further. But once you trace the line, I think the line gets traced. So if you stop it in the beginning, then it's better. So I will leave that. I think that the panel members are more, able to talk on the topic. Towards the closer we can take discussions, and then probably we will see more participation on your side. We can take questions and then close the event. Thank you.
We should take questions. Yeah, we should take questions.
No, I just want, before you take the question, I just want to see, since the topic is how can business media help in high growth? My own, to put it very succinctly, as simply as I can summarize the whole thing. I think that business media needs to understand that it is not just about business. Business is a lot of politics, and unless until you understand politics, you won't understand business. And this is something which, as students also, you people need to understand that one thing which I keep hearing from young students all the time, especially management students and non-art students, is that I hate politics. I hate politics is a very common word which I hear from all the youngsters nowadays. Please understand that it's become fashionable, to say that I hate politics. But please understand that you will not understand economics, you will not understand government, you will not understand policy issues unless you understand politics. So it's very essential that all of you understand politics. So I think that the business media also needs to understand politics better. What has happened in the past several years in India, among the business media, I don't want to comment on what's happening in other parts of the world because I don't follow it as closely as I follow Indian media. I think the business media in this country has, so that we admitted, is too corporate-centric, corporate-leaning in its approach. So once the business media, if the business media can bring about a balance in the way it looks at issues, not just from the point of the corporates, not just from the point of the multinationals, but also from the point of the ordinary people of this country, then I think they'll be able to contribute better to to this country and to the idea of growth also. And that growth has to be, as I said earlier, has to be more equitable growth, and business media needs to promote that whole idea of equitable growth, which we see very little nowadays.
But my view is business media should concentrate on corporate investigation. Because now we are, for a long time we are attacking politicians, political. There is a time to, Indian journalism should concentrate on corporate lies, corporate investigation. For a simple thing. We all know, we all read from newspaper that Tata attack. And the next day he gave interview to everybody, I want to sit very cool, calm and quiet. Then why he landed in 2 aviation deals all of a sudden? And then why his third deal is with a blacklisted company, Augusta Westland. Rotocraft. He started venture. See, there should be, you cannot tell lies, I do not recall. So, media, corporate icons should be made responsible to this country and the law. So, what we need is a corporate investigation, but all of a sudden, journalism always goes to little bit blackmail. You look at the Tehelka's Think Fest, where the fate of Tarun Deshpal is finished. Who are the sponsors of Tehelka? Look at it. All are under so many cases. SR was there because
The ownership of media houses becomes such.
I think that is the most important point. You know, I appreciate Gopi Krishna's concerns, but the biggest problem all of you need to understand is that media is no more free to do these things. He says that corporate